For more on this, we're joined by Stephen Cornelius. He's the Worldwide Fund for Nature's Deputy Global Climate and Energy Lead, and he's joining us from Dubai. Stephen, it's good to have you on this news hour. How do you feel about this draft deal and the phasing out of fossil fuels being left out of the draft? There has been a lot of strong reaction since Monday night.
There's been strong reaction, and rightly so. It was a terrible draft. It doesn't get us anywhere near where we need to be to limit global warming. And so the COP president and all the parties have been working all day. We're expecting a new draft to come. Well, rumor has it at 6 o'clock tonight, so in a couple of hours. And hopefully that will be stronger and address the problems that this first draft had. i.e., it doesn't mention the need to phase out fossil fuels. It's just not strong enough as it.
Were there any other issues in that draft that you could pick up besides the phasing out of fossil fuels being left out of it?
Yeah, I mean, there was plenty around, energy, the idea of tripling renewables, the idea of doubling energy efficiency. It has some good language around nature. It has some language around food systems. It has some language around adaptation. So it's not all bad in there, but what we need to see is this this North Star and this transformation that the COP president talked about at the beginning. And that means that we need to address the biggest cause, the biggest driver of climate change, and that is the burning of fossil fuels. That's the burning of coal, oil and gas, and we need to get that into the text.
Yeah, you talk about the North Star, and it seems that North Star is heading a little bit south at the moment until we do get a final draft on that. Do you think big oil companies have had too much influence at this year's COP? There was already criticism of it being held in the UAE, itself a huge producer of oil.
Yeah, I think the fact it's in the UAE, I think, is not the biggest problem. I think it is the oil lobbyists that you talk about. So, I mean, we've had many countries before that are dependent on fossil energy for example, the United Kingdom, for example, Canada. So that's not, I think, the big issue. The issue is having businesses here, I think, is important in the one hand, but you've got 2,400 lobbyists from the oil and gas industry that I think have had some impact. And you saw a couple of days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, there was a letter from OPEC basically telling the people to go and lobby governments to basically stand fast and to protect their interests. And that's not what we're here for. We are here to signal the end of the fossil fuel era and to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees.
Stephen, this makes me wonder, every year we have COP and activists warn, there are leaders of countries who warn of what's going to happen if we don't cut down and phase out fossil fuels, if we don't do more to curb the climate crisis. But this year, it almost seems like it's fallen on deaf ears, despite 2023 being the hottest year ever recorded, and we've seen multiple natural disasters that have been climate crisis induced happening all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's records, as you say, that continue to be broken. These are records that we don't want to be broken. And you say it's falling on deaf ears, but you have the Alliance of Small Island Nations here. You have African countries here. You have the EU, and they all want to see an ambitious deal. They all want to see this sort of language of phase out fossil fuels in the text. And so there is a high ambition coalition. There are a lot of people that want to see this. So it's not all negative.
Okay, and hopefully by 6 o'clock tonight we will see a new deal that has all the right wording in it, so that that North Star, we will be reaching it soon. Stephen Cornelius from the WWF, thank you so much for your analysis.